Welcome to Didactics with David Lopez. If you're new to my channel, I set up businesses to accept credit cards, mostly on the internet, and I specialize in what's considered to be high risk by my industry. I've been in the credit card processing industry for over 7 years, and I created this channel to kind of go over a lot of topics that I see going through my industry and what's affecting probably your business. I've been doing a lot of videos on CBD lately because it's kind of been the biggest major hot topic in the credit card processing world for the past year or so. A lot of businesses are being treated like hot potatoes. Banks are cutting off their account. Other banks are popping up willing to support CBD sales. And if you're a startup, you're probably struggling. I do advise you to watch my last video on the topic, the one regarding the LegitScript certification. That's probably the most up-to-date thing that I've come out with as of late January, early August. And I plan on having more updates on that specifically. But today I'm going to go over some news articles that I found that kind of just reinforce what I've been talking about in my videos for the past year if you've been following, specifically when it comes to CBD and the cannabis industry and accepting credit cards. So hopefully you find this informative and entertaining, and let's get right into it. So the Motley Fool recently put out an article, and I'll go ahead and give you guys the date of the article. It was in July 7th. They posted an article called Will Credit Card Companies Be the Undoing of CBD Product Sales? And they kind of cover the fact that Thrive Market recently had to stop selling products with hemp infused or CBD infused hemp oil because the credit card processor demanded that they do so. The credit card processor they're dealing with was not set up to monitor or regulate them for selling CBD products. The way it looks, obviously Thrive naturally compelled, but it should be a major concern for all retailers looking to hop on the CBD bandwagon. Now, this is obviously very big. As this article covers, CVS and a couple other major retailers have started to carry CBD products. If you notice, though, the only CBD products they are carrying are topical CBD products. That's because the FDA doesn't seem to be very concerned with cosmetic or topical products. As I covered in my video about the LegitScript, if you're looking to sell topical or cosmetic CBD products, you probably have a much easier time at this point getting set up to accept credit cards and even getting certified by a third party, not having to deal with this nightmare. It's really the ingestible dietary supplement CBD products that seem to be the problem as of right now. Last month, according to CNN Business, Stripe, a third-party payment processor, dropped as a client the nonprofit U.S. Hemp Authority, which has been working to develop a certification program and label for hemp products. Stripe considered the business a liability, according to CNN Business. U.S. Bank's processor Elevon began shutting down the accounts of CBD-related retailers in April. And I covered that. I actually work with Elevon. U.S. Bank Elevon is one of the processing partnerships that I have and that I work with directly, and that was kind of the program. If you look at some of my older videos when I announced that I can work with CBD merchants again, that was who was being done. They were the only one doing it at the time. Yeah, they've shut it off since. MasterCard, Visa, and American Express refuse to accept transactions from marijuana dispensaries, even where they're legal, and it may not be long before those also demand business to stop selling hemp and CBD products for fear of being held liable themselves. Retailers including Urban Outfitters, Design Brands, formerly DSW, and GNC have all begun selling CBD-based products, as have pharmacy chains CVS Health, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. Supermarket giant Kroger also just announced it would be adding CBD products to their shelves. Despite their retail heft, these stores would also immediately capitulate if the credit card processor made similar demands. Banks, credit card companies, and payment processors are declining to do business with marijuana-related businesses and their offshoots because, as financial institutions, they're obligated to ensure that their clients are compliant with the law, and even the hint of impropriety makes it not worth the risk. Because the rules of regulating cannabis vary from the federal to state level among states, it creates a gray area, as also raises the risk level. Currently, only Idaho and South Dakota still ban hemp products, though the Food and Drug Administration is against the CBD's addition to food, drinks, and dietary supplements. To some states are cracking down on edibles. Meanwhile, dosages in creams, lotions, and the like, such as Thrive Market was selling, are still subject of conjure amongst researchers, and some companies remain leery of jumping into the fray. So, they're obviously basically really covering what we kind of all know if you're in the industry. If you're in my industry and if you're in the CBD industry, we all kind of know this has been going on. This has been going on since, I started in this industry in 2012, and in 2013 I worked with some of the larger publicly traded companies at the time. They've moved on and, they're actively processing through other banks, but this has kind of been the ongoing problem with this industry because of the gray area and, the unfair illegalization of cannabis for the past 80 years. I don't try to make this channel or videos political, but obviously politics plays a big part in what's going on, specifically with this sort of thing. Rolling Stone had a recent article they published in July 17th, and they really point out the 3 Republicans that stand in the way of federal weed legalization. Now, as we know, if marijuana gets federally legal, or the Safe Banking Act, which I've covered in other videos, gets passed, we know that this whole getting set up to accept credit cards for CBD products, your startup or whatever, it's going to be null and void. I mean, you're not going to have that problem anymore. I'll just quickly point out, just so you know, the 3 Republicans that are the ones that are really pushing against the legalization of marijuana federally. There is a bipartisan push to make it federally legal, and even a bipartisan push for the Safe Banking Act, but it's very important that you at least know which politicians are still pushing against this. In issues increasingly bipartisan, Republican Senators Cory Gardner of Colorado and Rand Paul of Kentucky are both regular sponsors of marijuana legislation in Congressional Cannabis Caucus, and is co-chaired by 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. But public and bipartisan support are not enough for full marijuana legalization, says Glob. Are still in a situation where the temperature within the Republican Party conference within the leadership is not yet signaling that it's okay. The circle of people on Capitol Hill who will decide if cannabis legislation passes is actually pretty small. There are 3 names that are continuously listed by lobbyists, activists, and lawmakers as the gatekeepers to any federal cannabis legislation. Republican Senators Mike Crapo, Lindsey Graham, and Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Senator Crapo and Graham are chairmen of the Senate Banking and Senate Judiciary Committees, respectively, the 2 committees that have the highest chance of seeing a standalone cannabis legislation in this Congress. Take, for example, the Safe Banking Act, which is expected to pass the House by a strong margin, but because the bill deals with banking, it will have to pass through the Senate Banking Committee, which has been led by Crapo since 2016. Crapo's home state of Idaho is one of the only 3 in the nation with no legal marijuana, not even CBD for limited medical use. The state has the 2nd largest Mormon population in the nation, and the Mormon Church, of which Crapo is a member, has taken a stance on marijuana that it is cautiously pro-medical but strongly anti-recreational. In 2018 poll showed that 79% of Idahoans support medical marijuana, but a majority are still against legalization for recreational use. In an attempt to sway Crapo to consider the legislation, Marijuana Policy Project says that they are currently gathering signatures to put a marijuana legalization bill on the 2020 ballot there, in hopes of showing Crapo how his constituents feel. The situation in the Judiciary Committee, where Senator Lindsey Graham is chairman, is similar to the banking. Most cannabis bills, not just the banking bill, but have to pass committee before being considered in the full Senate because they involve Controlled Substance Act, which is overseen by the Department of Justice. Senator Graham's track record on marijuana is mostly cold. He co-sponsored the medical marijuana-focused Carriers Act of 2015, which would have rescheduled marijuana and given added protections to states that legalize marijuana. But since then, Graham has voted against other bills such as the Safe Banking Amendment, which would have been tacked off onto different appropriated bills multiple times over the years. Graham told Roll Call in April that he is not very excited about the Safe Banking Act, and in 2016 told Political Magazine he rejects recreational marijuana. His scorecard on marijuana advocacy group Normal website gives him a C grade. I highly recommend you go check out that article by Rolling Stone. Its title is shown in the video, 3 Republicans stand in the way of federal legalization. It's something definitely to keep your eye on. You know, as far as the Safe Banking Act, read up on it today, and it kind of was just like, okay, we hear what you're saying. Obviously, there's a problem, but didn't really go very far from my understanding. I did a quick read through, and there's not very much to report on as far as that goes. One website that does cover my industry is called Payments. They have an article talking about Nevada marijuana dispensaries using food trucks to sidestep card regulations. And this is kind of, I want to point this out because a lot of people are asking me if I had $1 every time someone asks me, well, why are you telling me I can't do this if XYZ is doing it? How are they doing it? Well, again, if you've seen the video I did on ease, they're getting accused of exactly what I've said that a lot of merchants are doing. Is they're setting up these fictitious businesses. They're getting an underwriting bank and a credit card processor and a sales agent like me, submitting an application. We don't know any better. We think, oh, it's just another business. Cool. We get them an account, and then they take that account and they start using it to sell marijuana or whatever other product online it is, and eventually they'll get caught. Seems like this business right here got caught. No one would ever mistake a marijuana dispensary for a food truck, but that is what one shop in Reno, Nevada calls itself when charging customers on credit cards. Credit card statements will show the purchase was made in Midgrew Eats LLC food truck, not at a Bloom marijuana dispensary. Experts in the dispensary say such labeling is the only way to get around federal banking regulations. It's not even a back door, it's more like an upper window. The label allows Bloom to take credit cards in an industry industry that is typically cash only. More options that you can give people to pay, the more business you're going to get. No one carries cash anymore, Scaff told the news outlet. No other dispensaries in Nevada, Washoe County take credit cards except 6 Bloom shops. Bloom representatives declined to comment, the report said. Yeah, well, that's obvious, and they probably got caught in whatever this food truck business that they had actually listed as the business on file with the credit card processing company has probably gotten terminated, and they probably have gotten blacklisted. It's not okay to do that. You're going to get yourself in trouble. I would just say wait it out. It's very easy for legal cannabis businesses in their respective states to use this sort of technique in order to be able to accept credit cards to gain an advantage over their competitors, because you're the one weed shop in town that does accept credit cards. Probably going to get more people show up to your store because they know they don't have to take out cash first. And you can probably get people to put it on their credit card and purchase more than they would normally purchase if they had only the cash on hand to spend. So that's obviously a very sneaky tactic. I don't recommend you do that if you are a legal cannabis business. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope this was informative, just giving you guys some updates on the news when it comes to the CBD and cannabis industry. I will be putting out more videos like this, kind of just giving you guys updates on the news on my industry. Hopefully, you find some of this content relevant and at least somewhat entertaining. And please subscribe, like, leave a comment. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about getting set up to accept credit cards, if you want to reach out to me, if you want me to consult you as far as your business and accepting credit cards, possibly even get a lower rate, please reach out to me. My contact info is below in the description box. Again, please subscribe, like, comment. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching.